Well, considering it was the most anticipated game launch in sim racing for about 10 years, I think you can pretty much call it a disaster, can't you? I speak, of course, of the launch of Assetto Corsa EVO, which launched on Steam last Thursday, January the 16th, to much fanfare. And it's fair to say it was a bit of a letdown, wasn't it? I mean, the first iteration of the game that we got in the first couple of hours was like nothing like we were promised. We were supposed to get, as you can see here, 5 circuits and 20 cars. We actually got about 5 cars, all of them hot hatchbacks, not particularly exciting cars by any stretch of the imagination. Thankfully, that was rectified a few hours later and we got our promised 20 cars. But at the time of recording this, and this is the Monday following, we still have not got our special events. We have no gameplay economy, no car rental, no car purchases, no ranks rewards, no driver profile, no driver licenses, no driver academy. And there's no car customization either. So, all in all, what have we actually been given here? I mean, I know this is early access, I get it. I know there's going to be problems with the game. But it seems that this game needs to be online, and like I said, we're now 4 days later, I haven't been able to get online with this game. The only content that we have, or I have at the moment, is a single player practice and a single player quick race with the 20 cars and 5 circuits. That's all we've got. So let's focus on what we do have. And well, for starters, this is the first screen that you're presented with, and I've got to say, I mean, it looks nice, but the UI, this has got to look better. I mean, it's not very well laid out. When you go into the settings, it's pretty confusing as to where things are. Setting up the controls was a nightmare. I mean, maybe I'm just an idiot. Well, I am an idiot, but it took me a long time to get the controls set up. It's not an easy process. It's not very well thought through. It's not very user friendly. I hate the UI. This just needs to change. I'm sorry, this just needs to change. But let's try and focus on some positives, shall we? Let's set up a couple of races, go and see how we feel about it. So, you join me, I've loaded into a race. This is the Porsche Cup Car race at Imola. Starting in the evening as the sun sets. And one thing I cannot deny is the game looks fantastic. Especially in these late evenings as you go into night. It just looks awesome. The tracks are really beautifully rendered. The cars as well, lots of detail. The light, the way it reflects off stuff is fantastic. One thing I particularly like is when you've got a car right up your trumpet at night and they've got the high beams on, the way that the cab kind of glows in the light of the headlights. So, despite the big problems that this game has clearly had in this early access release, there are definitely positives to be found. And the way it looks, it's probably the biggest positive actually in a way. Ugh. I mean, look at that. I like the little wacky inflatable arm flailing tube men at the side of the track as well. Always a bonus to see that sort of thing. But that just looks so spectacular. with the sun setting there. It really does. That's something about the gameplay though that Kunos are going to have to work on, is the AI. I don't tend to do much driving with AI. More of an online person, an online guy. But seeing as though AI is all we've got to race against at the moment, kind of just got to settle for what we've got. And it's let's see, what that car's just going to dive out my way. He made no attempt to stop me overtaking him there at all. He just got out of my way, and I found that's what the AI is like. It either just jumps out of your way or it's barging you off the track. There doesn't seem to be any kind of middle ground to it. Doesn't seem particularly intelligent. I mean, in terms of how it races around the track, it's okay. There doesn't seem to be like a lot of elastic banding sort of effect going on. There's no areas of the track where this seems spectacularly quick for no reason, or really slow. So in that sense, it's alright, but it doesn't really make for all that interesting racing. And I mean, the other thing is I've noticed, they have tendencies to do really stupid things, driving off track and barging into each other, and getting stuck in the pit lane is a funny one as well, I've noticed. Cars just getting stuck on the edge of the track and on the pit lane for no particular reason. Very odd. And I suppose, you know, look, that is an early access thing. I can accept that. It's an early access game, fine. You're going to have issues like that with AI and the way things behave. That'll get ironed out, I'm sure. They're really slow into there though, the AI. It's only about 95%, but so easy to overtake them down through there. So here we go, this is an example of what I'm talking about. Night has fallen here at Imola. I've got a car right on my backside. And you can see it reflecting in the cab of the car. I love the way that everything glows, like the green light flashing there. It's got a beautiful glow to it. It really does look spectacular. One thing I will say, and I don't know if it's just my monitors, might not necessarily be the game, but I've got the DLSS on to help with the frame rates, because it needs help. This is very GPU and CPU intensive, it seems. And again, I suppose that'll get better. But I've noticed there's quite a lot of sort of strobing and ghosting of lights. You can see the lights on the left hand side there. I don't know if that's picking up or whether I say it might just be my monitors. Oh, stick it up the inside, there we go. But yeah, the looks and the detail and the immersion that brings. I mean, look at that Ferris wheel, isn't that beautiful? Fantastic. But the immersion it brings when you get that, and you get those lights from behind lighting up the cab, it's so good. It really is a beautiful game. But looks aren't everything. What about the sound of the game? Well, this is a Mazda. Ooh, at Brands Hatch. And overall, I gotta say, I think the game sounds alright. Some of the engine notes are a bit weird, and there's a weird reverb thing that happens when you go past some walls. It doesn't sound spectacular, engine note-wise. It sounds alright. it gets the job done. But I think the kind of the environment noises, sound of the rain is really nice. You know, the sound of gravel on the car, that sort of thing. Really nice and immersive. Ooh, the skid noises, the rumble strips. Yeah, no real complaints, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not like, it doesn't make your spine tingle the way maybe, or certainly for me, the way LMU does. It doesn't have that visceral kind of, yeah, grunt to it. God. Please don't hit me. Ow. Thank you, AI. Another example there of the really smart AI just running into people. I mean, come on. If you need an example, Kunos, of why you need to sort the AI out for this game as you go along. Jesus. But yeah, anyway, in conclusion, it sounds fine. It sounds pretty good. And what about the most important element? The most important thing of any simulator? How does it feel? What's the overall driving experience like? And, well, I've got to say, for something that's early access, and barely early access at that, it feels pretty good. Ooh. The cars... it's difficult to put this into words sometimes. Everybody has their own opinion. But to me, at least, the cars feel like cars. They behave like I would expect something that weighs a ton and moves at 200 miles an hour to behave. You know, they feel like they've got weight to them, and they feel like they're connected to a surface as well. I think there could be a little bit more detail in some of the road surfaces. I've turned the vibrations up in the force feedback. The other thing I've done with the force feedback is remove pretty much all the in-game filters, because for me they were just taking away from they were dampening everything. It's still not perfect, it's still not there. I don't think it's horrible by any stretch of the imagination, the force feedback. These GT2, AMG GT2 cars, the beast that I'm driving around Suzuka here right now, I think they do feel a little sluggish. They're not quite as alive as the Porsche Cup cars that I was driving earlier on, or the Mazda MX-5s. I don't get quite the same feeling from them. So these are probably, in terms of force feedback, the worst cars in the game so far. I'd just like to feel a little bit more detail and a little bit more where the tyre is. It just feels, like I say, a little too sluggish to me. But overall, the cars are pretty forgiving to drive, he says, as he power slides it into the main straight. But yeah, they're pretty forgiving. I mean, especially actually, I mean, the Porsche, the Cup cars are probably a little too forgiving actually. For a car that doesn't have any TC, it's very easy just to put your foot down coming out of corners. This car's a little bit more of a... Oh, the AI's coming up the backside there. Again, like I said, the AI is very aggressive when it's behind you and totally the opposite when it's in front of you. Almost waves you through. You know, overall, it's fun to drive. And considering this is the first iteration of the game and it's only going to improve from here, you've got to say, this game could have a bright future. They've just got to sort everything else out. Actually give us some content. Because, frankly, what this game is right now, it's not even an early access game. I mean, I think I paid £30. Maybe it was like 27 or 28 pounds, I can't remember. And, you know, you're basically just doing practice races the whole time. There's no real other content to look at. You know, there's a lot of stuff missing from it, content-wise. There's a lot of stuff missing from the actual game experience. I haven't got an MFD or anything like that as far as I know. There's no way to sort of choose different tyres and tyre strategies for pit stops or anything like that I've found yet. You know, it shouldn't be something that's buried in the game if it's there. The AI again. So it needs a lot of work. It needs some content. It needs something for us to be able to actually do beyond just driving around these tracks. It needs to give us what we were actually promised in early access. Because for me, like I said, this is a demo. If they release this as a free demo, great. Spectacular. Give you just a feeling of what the game's going to be and what it's going to do. But this isn't supposed to be an early access game. And there's so much missing from it. But, despite everything, and despite the fact the launch has been fairly disastrous, the actual core game is I mean, for an early access title, it's 9 out of 10, 8, 9 out of 10. This is only going to get better, as I say. And it's really, really, really fun and good to drive. So pull your finger out, Kunos. Give us some more content. Give us our money's worth, because this is not our money's worth right now. And I trust that they're going to do that. I think Kunos are a company, you know, they're a small developer. I don't want to rag on them or anything like that. And they're a developer that have given us, you know, the original ACC games that I've had hours and hours of good times in. So they've earned quite a lot of goodwill from me, and I think from the whole sim racing community. They're not some ragtag outfit. And I think 6-12 months down the line, this is just going to be my go-to sim, everybody's go-to sim, as long as they develop it in the way they're going to say they're going to develop it. Thank you again here. So yeah, I think the conclusion is the potential is there, but my God, why did they launch it in this state? It's just, the mind boggles. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. I really am, and I can't wait. I'm hoping that in the next week or so we get all the content we were supposed to get, all of the licenses. We get a couple more tracks that I know are coming down the line, a couple more cars as well. So let's hope for better in the future. Let me know what you think as well. Let me know in the comments. I mean, you might think this game is absolutely spectacular and there's nothing wrong with it, but I just think this needed another month, 2, 3 months before they released it, so that they actually got the content right. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much, guys.